from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. I am so certain that today you are going to be excited about today's episode. And you'll remember in 2015, there was a coach out of Washington State who merely prayed with his football team before a game, and he stirred up national trouble, went on to win his case in the Supreme Court. Well, he is joining us today. Coach Joe Kennedy, thank you and welcome to The Three. I have been so excited to meet you. So I thanked you with a hug before we got on here, but again, thank you for, you were just you. You were just being you. I want to go back to that game in 2015. Tell us something about it we don't know that we didn't hear on the news.
Yeah, well, I didn't even want to be there. I really didn't.
What do you mean by that now?
Well, only thing I wanted to do was just coach football. I didn't want this fight. I didn't want to cause any trouble.
Sure.
I mean, especially for the school, because my wife, she worked for the school district.
Really?
She was their HR director. So you can imagine what this did for her family.
My goodness.
And only thing I wanted to do was just, go away and just, I was really weak in the flesh. I really wanted to not do it. And, but I knew that I had to do it because, I mean, when God calls you to do something, I mean, you got two options. And I tell these guys that you do whatever is right. And if there's time on the clock, you continue to fight. And I would have been the biggest hypocrite in the world. and I think that was probably the number one thing that kept me going is that I had to set that example for my team. I didn't want to be the guy who didn't lead by example.
So then it's what night of the week? A Friday night?
Friday night.
It's Friday night, and what was your protocol? You go out before the game, everybody takes a knee, what?
So we used to do the prayer in the locker room. Okay. They went away with that. They said no more prayers, and I was like, okay, your school, your rules. That wasn't my thing anyway. My covenant originally was just to take a knee and thank God after a football game.
Okay.
And so after the football game, only thing I did is we go and we shake hands with the other team and the coaches. And I was out on the 50-yard line. I faced the clock. I take a knee all by myself. I thank God, and I walked off the field.
It was all by yourself?
All by myself.
And it was after the game?
After the game.
So this wasn't even two different teams calling down God on both sides for a win. It was just thank you.
Yeah. Now,
it was who did that offend?
Well, see, and it was so weird. So this all led up to that because I was praying all those years. I was praying with the team, and at the beginning of that year, I was warned to stop praying with the kids and with the team. I complied with that.
Okay.
Are
you at the school any longer?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was going to say. So then you can speak freely. I hope.
Oh yeah.
You're saying someone from the school came to you and said, stop praying with the...
Yeah, so it originally started with a compliment. Somebody from another school district saw what we were doing and called the principal and said, I just want to tell you what your football program is doing. It's really awesome.
Really?
So this all started from a compliment.
Interesting. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrap your brain around that one.
Well, so here's the thing is that I'm looking at it from the perspective of the Lord wanted to make a comment, really a statement to the nation, and he picked the most unassuming guy who was just out there saying thank you, to him. It wasn't in for a fight. It's like with David, he just brought his brother's lunch down to the field. Next thing you know, he's slaying a giant. So what happened then after they get the phone call, hey, your coach is doing a great job? What broke?
Yeah, a lot of communication. If you can imagine that, people don't want to really talk these days.
True.
So they started an investigation to see what I was doing. Now, the school district does have one policy. You cannot encourage nor discourage kids in prayer.
Okay.
And I'm fine with that because telling somebody they have to pray is just as bad as telling them that they cannot pray.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do either of those. And so I was right on, I followed that. There's no problem there. But the school, they were adverse to maybe potentially getting sued. Somebody might have a problem with this, that this could be misconstrued. And,
Even though it came from a compliment.
yes. And when their lawyers got involved, that's when things went really sideways, because these people are my friends. And you know, the superintendent, we go to the same church. The principal, he has a Bible study on Wednesday night. So these are all believers.
Wait, so these wound up being your opponents?
Yes.
This is complicated. These are the things that you don't really hear on the news.
Yeah.
So then you lost friends over this.
Yeah, I did. And it was weird that people chose sides, because I never chose a side. I asked the question, can you pray after a football game? To me, it was cut and dry. The First Amendment is very clear. You have the freedom of speech, and you have the freedom of the exercise.
Yep.
You have the right as an American to do these things. It was so simple for me. And you don't give up your rights because where you work.
Yeah.
Now, the school, they're risk adverse, and they have to listen to their lawyers.
Okay.
Even though they know what's right, and I can understand them not giving up their jobs. Some of these guys have worked their entire life. This is their livelihood. Would you give up 37 years to get to the pinnacle of your career
exactly.
and lose that over a high school football coach for a 30-second prayer?
Okay.
I can understand.
Wow.
But I never took sides on it. I was like, I just want them to answer the question, can I pray after a football game?
Yeah.
So after they fired me, that was only two things. I want to be a coach, give me my job back, and I want to pray after a football game.
Wait, back up. When did they fire you? When did that happen?
It was right in the middle of the football season.
So
in
the
my
compliment happened near the beginning. There was resistance. You pushed back. Did you keep praying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then somebody got angry and just fired you, or their lawyers said...
That's where it went really weird. So we had, they gave me a couple different letters and letters of direction, and I complied with them. And that's where it went really weird. And they said, stop praying with the kids, and I did. But then the other team came out, so we didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what to do. At one time, I stopped praying. I was weak in the flesh, and I left. I didn't even pray. I gave a motivational speech, and I came back to the field because I felt the total conviction and like I did something wrong. And I was like, I just gave up on everything I've been teaching these guys. So I went back. I fell out on the 50-yard line, and I just was like, God, I am never going to let you down again.
Wow. This story has so many facets. Okay, I have a million questions, but I have to save them till after the break. So don't go anywhere. We are here with Coach Kennedy, an inspiration to not just football players and football coaches, but to Americans. Come right back after the break. Stay close. Some people don't yet realize that essential oils were put by God into our leaves, trees, flowers, and grasses on the third day of creation, all to promote health, provide prevention, and yes, even cures. Other people get that, but maybe they've never had any real success with one particular essential oil, which is why I create oil blends, giving you a better chance for a positive result with numerous health benefits. But there's one thing we all agree upon, and that is that essential oils smell good. They fill up a room with any mood that you need, anytime that you need it. We call it aromatherapy. But maybe you don't know the science behind why aromatherapy works. You see, we inhale through our nasal passages, and the nasal passages have direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. This means that scent is immediately tied to mood, but that's good news because you can change your mood by merely changing the aroma in your room. It's like therapy in a bottle. And that's why we call it aromatherapy. At Neuromatics Oil, we take the business of aromatherapy very seriously. We offer you a wide variety of options. Candles, diffuser sets, nasal inhalers, even diffuser jewelry so that you can wear your essential oils all day long. Quiet Brain for natural relief from insomnia, anxiety, headache, and more. Happy Brain to lift mood and even help with appetite suppression and depression. And Sharp Brain to help with focus and cognitive memory issues. Naturally, the oil blends themselves, applied topically on the skin, are going to provide faster and more potent relief. But if you're looking for a way to enjoy our oil blends without using them on the skin, aromatherapy is for you. And Neuromatics Oil has you covered. Go to neuromaticsoil.com today, or use your phone and scan the QR code on your screen with your camera app, or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
Did you know that there are more than 600 Bible references to aromatic plants and essential oils? Did you know that once upon a time they were our only medicines? They're still medicine today. You see, God made plants and their essential oils to support your health. They're drug-free remedies that can be used from the comfort of your own home with little to no side effects. And although only 5% of natural products get patented, my oil blends, Quiet Brain, Happy Brain, and Sharp Brain, did. Because third-party lab tests proved that they crossed the blood-brain barrier with potent relief for everything from migraines to memory loss, insomnia, anxiety, seizures, weight problems, even depression. So go to neuromaticsoil.com today to see my patented oil blends, and there are dozens of therapeutic products, healing lotions, bubble baths, nasal inhalers, even shampoo and conditioners, all created by our family for the health of yours. Go to neuromaticsoil.com or use your phone and camera app to scan the QR code on your screen, or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN. Hey guys, I'm Laura. You're watching The Three. We are here with, I'm going to call you America's coach, Coach Kennedy, who took his case all the way to the Supreme Court and won about praying on field with his team. Now then, right before the break, you had us to the point of the story where things got sticky in all of your relationships. Your church mates, your good friends were on different sides of this. All of them liked prayer. All of them loved the Lord. But this is really where the rub is and why the law has to get involved. We have First Amendment rights to be able to do this. It's not like you were getting on a loudspeaker and evangelizing and a million other things that would have been wonderful. You were just praying.
Yeah.
And it offended some gatekeeper somewhere that got lawyered up.
Oh yeah, and it took on a life of its own.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
over a 30-second prayer.
That's
I mean,
amazing
even
to
to this
me.
day, I still cannot wrap my brain around it. Talk about non-newsworthy.
Yeah.
People are like, why is this in the news? And I was like, I'm with you. I have no idea.
Wow.
But God had other plans for it.
I'm curious what the people, like your team, the players, their parents, what happened there?
Yeah, that was the best thing about it is it's a small community, but they all banded on my side. And my team, they wanted to, well, we're going to quit. We're going to walk off the field. I was like, whoa, 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 guys. No.
Wow.
Your battle is on the field. This is my battle.
Okay.
So, but the parents, they were up in arms over it. And my whole
Really?
job as a coach wasn't the X's and O's. Mine was to take care of the kids and community relations and with the parents. This was my bread and butter was with these people.
My goodness.
Yeah, they were very upset with the school district over this. And yeah, it caused quite a few ripples in our community.
I want to know when the media got involved.
Well, right after...
Because that's when we finally all knew about it.
Yeah.
But how long of a time was it before they got involved?
Right at the beginning. So
Okay.
right when they started the investigation, I did one. They told me, hey, just don't pray. It was a thing that the athletic director told me and the head coach. They were like, just don't pray. And I'm like, a little bit of rebel, but as a Marine, and
Semper Fi.
yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
You're not taking my rights
Yes,
away.
yes.
I've had, I served my country to have these rights. You're not taking that away because you're scared. I'm
That's
not doing
right.
it.
That's
I'll
right.
stand up for you guys. And so after the game, I wasn't even sure I was going to pray. And then the opposing team came running up. The kid hands me his helmet and said, Coach, would you use my helmet in prayer? And I was like, absolutely. So we did the prayer. I turn around. The athletic director's walking off, and he's just shaking his head. I look over at the head coach, and he goes, they're going to fire you. And now I'm get the pit in my stomach, and I'm on the bus. I'm going home, and I did one post. This is the power of social media.
Okay.
One post. I think I just got fired for praying. Post, turn my phone off. Next day, I'm getting calls from the East Coast, from news outlets.
Are you kidding
No.
me?
It was overnight.
One post on
One
social
post.
media.
And-
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so-
you inherited the win.
Yeah, there's power in that. I tell
So
you.
I told you when I first met you that one of the reasons I was really attracted, not just to your story, but to having you as a show guest, is that I had to take on a legal fight for my neighborhood. They put a cell tower 50 yards from my house. They put it in the backyard of the wrong person. And I show up at a town meeting, and I'm the most vocal one, and 9 lawyers turned us down to help us get it removed. And everybody just decided that I should be the one to represent us in court. So I have also had to go to court, represent, myself, my community, and that type of thing. And I know what it feels like to be unequipped to do that and have to do it.
Yeah.
I am really curious at what point somebody in all of that fray you woke up to the next day, at what point did some lawyer come to you and say, I will help you? I mean, that had to be daunting when you're first looking at this. So how long did it take and who did it?
Yeah, so it started out where I thought I could take care of it myself without legal stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are my friends.
Yeah.
We've worked together for a decade.
Sure.
We could talk this out. And I don't think we need legal stuff. Well, when their lawyers took over everything, I'm like, okay, I'm not equipped for this. And so I'm getting phone calls, there's guys like Jay Sekulow calling, and he's like, hey, I'm Jay Sekulow. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you. I'm hanging up the phone. I don't want to talk to anybody. So First Liberty, First Liberty Institute, they called, and who was a friend of a friend. The only reason I talked to him, because I wasn't talking to any lawyers, and they heard they said, tell me your story. And the first thing they asked me, they were like, are you some kind of religious whack job? And I started laughing. I was like, no, if that's what you're looking for, you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a terrible Christian, man. I mess up everything every day.
Christian.
And they were like,
I am now seeing why God picked you. This is so great.
I am. I'm so bad.
No. So then Jehovah Sneaky strikes again. It was a friend of a friend kind of a call. I don't think you ever would have said, hey, I'm going to get lawyered up and go tackle this.
How would you do? I don't know lawyers.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
I obviously know that myself. But it sounds like the Lord just brought someone in who could just be the wind beneath your wings, so to speak, and take care of all of that.
The perfect group to do it.
Wow.
And they were pretty small at that time, and it was a really growing time for them, and really have expanded them and put them on the map, which was so good. Now they're taking care of so many cases around the nation now, because this happens all the time. And more people are starting to stand up, which makes me feel so good.
And you set a precedence. That's the thing. I learned about precedent during all of that, and I just began to research cases. When was someone in my exact situation and they lost? And man, I had to go to court locked and loaded and find those things. And you are now that for people. So when we come back from the break, I want to just discuss a little bit more of that and the process itself and what it was like to go to the Supreme Court and win, by the way. Did you catch that part? So right after the break, we will be right back with more with Coach Kennedy. Stay close. So you're on our website trying to select your favorite products or maybe put a gift package together for a friend. Well, we've done the work for you. Our Pause package encourages rest and contains 1 Quiet Brain healing lotion, therapeutic bubble bath, and a Quiet Brain 50-hour burn candle. Our Uplift package gives you a real mood boost with a Happy Brain candle, healing lotion, and bubble bath. The Self-Care package contains the Quiet Brain healing lotion, bubble bath, and healing shampoo and conditioner. Our Awaken package is made with our Sharp Brain blend and includes 1 nasal inhaler, 1 dropper bottle of oil, 1 bottle of healing lotion, and a Sharp Brain candle. The Sweet Dreams package is popular because it contains 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain oil, 1 satin sleep eye mask, and a copy of my best-selling book, Seeing the Voice of God, what God is telling you through dreams and visions. And don't forget our Quiet Brain gift box, our best value, with a sampling of almost all Quiet Brain products. 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight Diffuser, 1 dropper bottle of oil, a nasal inhaler, candle, shampoo and conditioner set, and even a satin sleep eye mask. But my personal favorite is our trio oil sets that allow you to sample all 3 of our patented Neuromatic oil blends while only paying for 2. They're available in dropper bottles, rollerball bottles, and our eyedropper pump bottle. Scan the QR code on your screen, go to neuromaticsoil.com, or call 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
Hey guys, I'm Laura. You're watching The Three. We are here with America's Coach, Coach Kennedy, and we're finding out all about his dangerous prayer he prayed on the field as a rebel coach. No, seriously. We've established that you had the support of your team. The reason you even prayed that night when asked not to, when suggested not to, was because a boy came up to you and handed you his helmet and said, would you use my helmet when you pray? Like, people are looking up to you. And then there's the factor of it's just you and God. You're just thanking God and praying, which is within your rights as an American citizen. So at what point, Coach, did you realize you had a tiger by the tail? I'm assuming, media's getting involved and whatnot. This legal organization comes to represent you. It went state first, correct?
Yeah.
So when did it break at the state level and you realized you were going to the Supreme Court?
Well, I thought it was like Law and Order.
Yes, exactly.
Something happens, dun-dun, next day, everything's good.
Right.
I'm sitting in the court, and the judge, he said, I prayed with my guys, and when I coached, my dad, he prayed with him when he
judge
coached.
says this?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, slam dunk, we're going to win this. And he says, however, due to today's climate, and I'm going, climate?
Wait.
You're a judge, not a weatherman.
And we didn't rewrite the Constitution.
I don't understand this. And so we had to appeal that.
Okay.
Because he didn't rule according to the law or the Constitution. Mm-hmm. So we appealed that. It went to the Supreme Court. It went to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
All right.
Those guys did not like me at all. And they really set the precedent that any display of religion in the public square could terminate you. And that's where my biggest fear was, is that if we lose this, that I just mess it up for everybody. You can get a job anywhere.
Yeah.
And
anybody
else.
else.
For anybody in America. Right. So that's when we had to appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, they said no, but we were concerned about what the Ninth Circuit said.
Yes.
And they said, go get all the facts of the case, bring it back if you need to, and went back through the process. The other judge, when we went back to the Ninth Circuit, he doubled down. He actually even quoted the Bible and said that the way I understand my Bible, I pray like this. So he was quoting how I'm supposed to pray.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Only in America.
I was going to say, but we are American. So the whole point is that we have the First Amendment right to say whatever we want to say.
Absolutely.
That's the part of this that I just, as you said, can't get my head around is it was a simple prayer. It must underscore what our prayers do.
Yeah.
It must underscore the power of prayer. Prayer doesn't just lead to the greater work. Prayer is the greatest work. And so that's why I'm so interested in your story. And I'm assuming you have heard from coaches all over this country who have said thank you. So tell me then, you're at the Supreme Court. What happens once you're there? What was that like?
It's so weird. I mean, there's no words for it. And we were right at the end of post-COVID. And
True.
So we weren't allowed to actually go into it. I wasn't even allowed to go into the Supreme Court for my own case.
Interesting.
I thought, this doesn't seem right legally. They only allowed two lawyers from each side, but they allowed all the media to go in there.
Oh.
The press was allowed to go in there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I had to sit across the street and listen to it on C-SPAN or whatever it was.
Right.
And so I had to just listen to it. It was just the weirdest thing. And then you have to wait until they decide and write their 30-page whatever.
Right.
And it was kind of anticlimactic. It was like, okay, now what? Now what? And then, but as soon as we had the ruling, that's when everything erupted. It went crazy. We didn't even get to celebrate. As soon as we got the ruling.
What do you mean?
So when the ruling came out that in our favor, it was 6-3. We only gave a high five to each other because we wanted to go tell the nation. We got on, I think it was 87 interviews in 3 or 4 days. So from 4 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night.
Now, were all of these kind, or were some of them adversarial? I'm imagining.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
CNN was one of my favorite. You got to watch it. Google that one's awesome. Yeah, they didn't call me back after that interview, but it was so awesome. We wanted to tell the world that, hey, your rights are restored, and we have more religious freedom in America now than we have in the past 50 years. So we wanted to tell the world about it.
Listen, 6-3.
Yeah.
That's a spanking. That's a statement. You know, I mean, it really is in our Supreme Court. All right, here's my question for you. You are obviously a role model. You knew you were for your guys, for your boys, right? And then for the parents, and then there's the state. Okay, but even beyond that, when you win a court at a Supreme Court level, despite the aftermath, and I know there has been that as well, You really set a precedent spiritually. You raised the bar morally for coaches all over the world. What has this done for you, for your life? Are you on speaking circuits now? You're not coaching football for high schoolers anymore, or are you?
No, I went back and I coached one game and thought it was best to let those things go.
Okay.
No more fun in it. They took all the fun
The
out
Lord
of
gave
it.
you a new ministry overnight. I mean, David wasn't in the fields forever. He had to go be king. So
Right.
I'm just
So,
really
yeah.
curious. What are you doing?
So we wrote a book, Average Joe, and so that came out.
And where do they get it? Where can they get that?
Amazon,
Okay.
anywhere books are sold. Yeah.
Average Joe. I
Average
love
Joe.
it. Keep going.
And yeah, kind of my whole entire life story. So the court case is really, I think, the really small part of the book. Because
Okay.
that was the boring part of my life. It was how God led this idiot all the way up into this, and how he can use the average person
Wow.
to do something as good as this. So yeah, I'm going around the nation. We just got done filming a movie, The Average Joe.
Okay.
We're going to be watching the trailer this week, and the movie comes out in October. So
Where? Will it be nationally distributed?
yeah,
or what?
it's going to be in the theaters in October.
This
How
is
weird is that?
amazing. Well, it's pretty incredible from a 30-second prayer.
Yeah.
You know, that you were just praying just to
Yeah.
thank God, by the way. Evidently thanking God
That's
works.
God. Yeah.
You know?
Power of prayer.
Because now, look at, he's given you this entire life. So then you have wife, children, assuming all of this. How did this affect them? Because they had friends too, you
Yeah.
know, and so I see what you're doing now, and you're the one sitting on the couch at interviews and whatnot. What happened to them?
Right. So my kids, kids are kids. You got kids. You understand. I think my sons, only reason they knew something was going on because we got interviewed by ESPN and Sports Illustrated. I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That was the only reason they knew something was going on. My daughter thought it was cool because, she was popular all of a sudden.
Okay,
so
okay.
They rolled with it. Now, my wife was a whole different story. We almost got divorced over it. It was so tough on
Wow.
her.
I can't
But
imagine.
it absolutely brought us together, and God totally, where you're divided. It
Yes.
brought us together as one,
Look at
and
that.
strengthened our marriage. And she's going to have to get her butt out here and start sitting on couches with me, because her testimony is 10 times better than mine.
Really? Okay. Well, then, so I have an in with you,
Oh,
with her.
absolutely.
Okay, I'll get to her somehow. Well, Coach, this has been such a joy to get to meet you, to get to hear your story. I knew there was more to it. Can you tell us when they will be able to see the movie, Average Joe?
October 10th-ish.
And, of course, you can go anywhere good books are sold, Average Joe, get the book, watch the movie. Now you're my friend.
Thank you.
I am so thankful. God bless you, Coach, for everything that you did for Americans everywhere. All right, guys, this has been a wonderful episode of The Three, and I'm so glad that you joined us. I'm Dr. Laura Harris-Smith. Until next time, see you then.